Hi guys, welcome back to Gadget Game 2017, and as you can see, the Super Nintendo Classic Mini has arrived. After this big sellout of NES Mini last year, a lot of us couldn't get hold of it, and we've all been waiting for the next generation console to be released in the miniature form from Nintendo. As you can see, I've managed to pick up two, and you could be in with a chance of winning one of these, so stick around to the end of the video to see how you could win one of those. But make sure you do subscribe to this channel, because it will only be subscribers that will be in with a chance of winning. So today it's going to be an unboxing video. We're going to take a look at this gorgeous little console. Obviously it holds great nostalgia for a lot of people, myself included. I remember there was only one guy in my class at school who had one, so as often as I could I would try and go around to his after school and play this. So as you can see from the front, they've tried to keep this looking as close to the original as they can. Obviously they've taken the image of the cart, because you don't need that for this. It was on the box of the original. And then they've kept the Mario riding Yoshi, which was on the cartridge for Super Mario World, which is something I remember being on the branding for that. So as you can see, it does say it's got 20 plus 1 games pre-installed, all digital obviously, so the cartridge slot there is just sort of for show to make it look like the retro console. And then you can see there's 2 controllers included, and then you've got the console itself. It doesn't include the AC adapter. It does have a USB cable in the box, so make sure you've got a compatible USB plug. Nintendo do sell one, obviously, for an additional cost. So that's pretty much it for the front. You've got your seal of quality from Nintendo there, very close to the original packaging. So on the top you can see sort of a size comparison, obviously someone holding the console in their hand just to show, and then you've got all the branding again. Pretty much the same on the end. You can see you've just got the 2 controllers and the console, and then you've got pretty much what's included in the package in pretty much every language going. Then you've got your warnings, and you can see the HDMI logo there, because this is 720p resolution, and then you've got all the copyrights for the games that are on that. So if we flip it around to the back, you can see what those 20 plus 1 games are. Now if you're wondering why it says 20 plus 1 and not 21, it's because Star Fox 2, which was never released, it was in production but was never released, isn't playable when you first get connect the console up. You do have to complete the first level of Star Fox to be able to play Star Fox 2. And it does just say in very small writing there how to unlock it. So you've got your 20 other games on the back here. If we just take a look at them, Super Mario World, obviously the classic that I can remember playing at my friend's house. I've never owned a SNES, so this is going to be amazing for me, because I'm going to get to play some of these games that I only got to play in part, or never got to see at all. There's a lot on here that I'd never heard of. There's some that I've heard of that I never got the chance to play. One of them being Super Metroid. I played Metroid on the GameCube, I think it was, and I loved that, so looking forward to that. Final Fantasy 3. Who doesn't like the Final Fantasy series? Obviously looking forward to the remake of Final Fantasy 7 when that comes out, but Final Fantasy 3 I never got the chance to play it, so really looking forward to playing that. Now Star Fox, obviously a brilliant space flight game, really takes advantage of the FX chip that was in the Super Nintendo. Really one of the first real 3D games that I can remember sort of seeing and being amazed by. Then on to one of the games that I didn't even know existed till the SNES Mini was announced, Super Mario RPG. So a role-playing game for the characters and world of Super Mario. I'm definitely going to give that a go. I do like the Final Fantasies and the Zelda series, so it's going to be interesting to see how an RPG takes on the Mario story. Then we've got Donkey Kong Country, which again is another game I never got to play on the SNES, I think I did play it on the Game Boy Advance, or the Game Boy Advance equivalent of Donkey Kong Country, and I loved that. Secret of Mana. It's a game I've heard of, and I don't know what kind of game it is. I'm going to give it a try, see what it's like. Like I say, I've heard of it, so I'm guessing that it must be a good game for there to be sort of talk about it around that. I've picked up that name from somewhere. Then F-Zero, kind of Nintendo's version of, well, I suppose it was predating Wipeout that came out on the PlayStation. Obviously a racing game, sort of almost in like futuristic spaceships, is what I remember F-Zero to be. Super Castlevania 4. Obviously the Castlevania series still going strong today, getting various different remakes for the newer gen consoles, and Castlevania is one of those games that, if you know Castlevania, I'm really looking forward to playing this and seeing what the Super Nintendo had as a game for that. Mario Kart. Now everyone's played Mario Kart in some form or another. I got to play this on my friend's SNES back in the day. I've played various versions on the handhelds and on the Wii more recently. It's still going strong. It is one of those classics that's absolutely a brilliant little race, a brilliant little multiplayer game to play against your friends. And then Zelda, again, another franchise which is still going strong today. Like I say, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that because I never had the chance when it was originally out. I've had emulators with it on, but it's never really felt comfortable to sit down and really get into this. Obviously there is a save feature on this, which some of the games obviously didn't have in the originals. I imagine games like Zelda and Final Fantasy would have had a save mechanism, whether it's through a code or something, but for the other games that's going to be really handy. So then underneath that we've got Mega Man X. So I've never played a Mega Man game. I know it's still going on. I know he's a really popular character, so I'll see what that's like. Kirby, we've got two Kirby games here. We've got Kirby's Dream Course and Kirby's Superstar, which underneath it says Kirby's Fun Pack, and it says 8 games in 1. I have no idea what the Kirby games are like. Obviously, to me, he looks like a humanoid sort of marshmallow, and I know he can sort of take on the abilities of whatever he sort of eats. So I'm not really sure how that mechanic works in either of these games, or what sort of style games these are. But I'll give them a try. The Kirby games have never really appealed to me, but maybe I just haven't given them a chance. And then we've got Super Mario World 2. Obviously a return for Yoshi, who we see in Super Mario World, and a baby Mario. So this is kind of a prequel to all of the Mario series. Looking at it, I think Yoshi finds baby Mario, and that's sort of like the start of their friendship, and as we see in later games, how they utilise each other to sort of complete the games that we see. So it's really big games on here. Really, it's going to be hours and hours of playability. So moving on to Ghouls' Ghosts, a notoriously challenging, hard game. It's just relentless. So, I'm going to give it a go, but I'm sure I won't last that long before I get completely frustrated with that one, and just give up on that totally. Earthbound, looking at that, it looks like there's some kind of giant robot with spikes all over him. I have no idea what Earthbound is, but none of these games got criticised when the SNES Mini was announced, so I'm assuming they're all strong games. So I'll give it a chance. Contra 3, The Alien Wars, again, another game I've heard of, never actually played, so it definitely sounds like my kind of thing. Alien Wars, you couldn't put anything better into that title that would appeal to me more, really. And then Super Punch-Out, the famous boxing game, or Super Punch-Out, sorry, I've been missing off the Super, just because they put that in front of pretty much every title on the console. So Super Punch-Out, I think it was a sequel, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Never played any. I'll give this a go. I have seen footage of it being played. It does look quite basic for a boxing game compared to anything we sort of play today. And then another one sort of from the youth. I remember this being in the arcades and you know, queuing up to sort of get a chance to play it and then getting killed pretty much instantly, having to move on. But Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, hyper fighting, you know, Street Fighter is a fantastic game, and Street Fighter 2 is obviously the standout one of the series in all its different iterations. You know, I can't wait to play Street Fighter again. And the great thing about this is obviously it comes with 2 control pads, so you can get a mate round and really get, you know, some good battles going. So that's the box. Hopefully I haven't taken too much time looking around that. Without further ado, let's crack on and get it open. As I say, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and that will also enter you in the chance to win this extra console I've got here. So stick around to the end just to see all the details of how to enter on that. There we go, it's out of the box. And you obviously get the operations manual there. That seems to be all that's in there. You get the controllers, so you get 2 controllers. Okay, oh, they look brilliant. Oh, that is absolutely spot on. All of the buttons really feel fantastic. They feel so well built. Looks exactly the same as the original console controller. I don't know if they've made any difference to the size. It doesn't feel like it. You've got the Made in China on the back there. That is a brilliantly designed controller. It doesn't feel like they've made any changes to that whatsoever. So if we unwrap this, so obviously we know that the NES Mini was notorious for having an extremely short controller cable. Let's just see how long this is. So that is, wow, that's, you know, it's not ridiculously long. It's a good 3-4 feet long. So you can't sit ridiculous length away from the console, but it's an improvement over the NES. I think the cable extenders that you could buy for the NES Mini do work with this, because it's got the sort of modern controller port on there. So I'll find out for definite, and I'll put that in the details below if that does work with the NES controller extenders, because it's likely you're going to be needing that. And there we have the second controller. Down. So what else have we got in here? So we've got the USB micro. Is that the micro or the mini USB there? There we go. So that's the power cable. So obviously, as I said at the start, you do need a power plug in order to be able to connect this up and play it, or alternatively if you've got a device that supplies power through its USB socket. I'm assuming it's going to be powerful enough to power this, but I suppose it depends on your device. You've got a pretty sturdy HDMI cable there. That is pretty good. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Yeah, that, you know, your standard HDMI cable. And then that's everything apart from the console itself. So put that out of the way. So here we go. There it is. Now I don't know if you can tell the size of that, but I mean, I have pretty small hands and I can easily hold that, you know, on both sides without much of a stretch. So that is absolutely gorgeous. That really does look the business. You know, it just looking at it from this perspective, you know, it makes my hands feel huge. Looking at that console, it's so perfect. You know, it is really, you know, it really hits the nostalgia button right on the head. It's, yeah, that looks perfect. You've got really well made buttons on this. You know, there's no sort of looseness to them, really tactile. Obviously the eject button doesn't do anything, you know, it's not an actual button, it is just moulded plastic, just because the cartridge socket, cartridge slot is, you know, just for, you know, to complete the look of this being a retro console. And then at the front we've got the mock controller terminals, which just pull out, you know, with the new sockets behind it there. That's how you connect up your controllers. As you can see, you've got the Super Nintendo Entertainment System logo on the front there, with the power light down here in the bottom. You've got your reset to obviously go back to the menu to select your games, and your power on and off. And then you've got the SNES colour logo there, which is obviously reminiscent of the colours on the control pad. So if we take a look around the console, it's not a lot on either side. On the bottom we've got the serial number, and then you've got all of the power wattage, made in China, all of that on the bottom, with some nice little rubber feet, because obviously it is a very light console. You know, imagine just a slight tug on the control pad, being such a short cable, will sort of bring this careening off of whatever surface you've got it on. And then you've got the HDMI out, and the DC in, so the power in, and then the HDMI logo again on the back there. And I think there is some little vents in this. Obviously this is a replica of the vents that would have been on the original console, but there are actually some vents in there as well for this. So obviously keeps the console nice and cool. So that's it. That is the SNES Mini, and I can't wait to get into this and give it a go. I think I've whittled it down to 2 games to decide which one is going to be the first game I'm going to play. Let me know in the comments below what is going to be your first game you play on this, because it's really, you know, there is a lot of choice. It'd be really interesting to see what everyone's thoughts are. I say I'm stuck between 2. I really can't decide what the first one's going to be. So as I said at the start, obviously I have 2 of these. I'm going to be giving this one away as soon as I reach 1,000 subscribers. So that could be tomorrow, that could be a year from today. You know, if you subscribe to this channel, you're in with a chance of winning. Any one of my subscribers, whether you subscribe for this video or any other video, you're going to be entered into it. The moment I reach 1,000 subscribers, a week after that, I will close the competition, and every one of my subscribers will be entered into the ballot, and I'll draw out at random one of those names, and you know, I'll contact you through YouTube to get that sent out to you. Now, if you want to be in with an extra chance of winning, share this video. That way you'll help boost the amount of subscribers I get, and we'll get to that draw date quicker. If you share it with the hashtag GadgetGame2017 SNES, every share with that hashtag will get an extra draw into the competition. But as I say, you must be a subscriber on my YouTube channel, because that is how I'm going to be contacting you. So you could have 20 shares with that hashtag, but you only need 1 subscriber on my channel. So I'll contact you on whatever social media it is that you've shared it on, so whether it's Twitter or Facebook. They're the 2. By the way, I'm not on Instagram or anything like that. So Twitter or Facebook, with that hashtag, will get you an extra entry into this competition, and it's not limited. You can have as many shares with that hashtag as you like, and each one will get you an entry into this competition. So that's it. Get sharing, get subscribing, and let me know what you think of the console. Have you picked one up yourself? What would be your first game you're going to play? And keep an eye out on my channel, because I'm going to be having the SNES version of the Nintendo 3DS XL, which is coming out in Europe next month. So keep an eye out for that as well. Thanks guys, and I'll see you soon.